welcome to Tuck Talk with me, Emerald. So I'm back. Told you guys it wouldn't be as long as it had been previously. Lots of things to talk about tonight. But first off, as always, tonight I am drinking LaCroix sparkling water. It is a blackberry cucumber mix. That's right. There is no alcohol tonight. For Lent, I actually gave up that part of my life for a little while just to get some things back on track. So cheers to the LaCroix sparkling water for right now. All right, let's get started. So I don't really have a PTLO. A couple things I want to go over. A couple weeks ago, I want to give a shout out to Chance the Rapper for donating $1 million to the Chicago public school system, and then somebody at like the Chicago Tribune or Times talks about him not having a relationship with like his baby mama and not paying child support, and Chance gets on Instagram with his baby mama and their baby and is like, "You're a liar," and this is exactly what happens when black people try to do good in the community, like trying to slander him. So, you know, that ain't cool, and big up to Chance for continuously like showing us like what a young, successful black man looks like. I'm really proud of him and just hopeful that Chicago and everywhere else can get their shit together. So I just want to say that because I don't think we've talked about that. So our top story tonight actually is about the most recent budget cuts to come out of the White House. And I'm just going to go ahead and jump into that. Let me take a sip because even though there's no alcohol in there, I just need a moment to like gather myself because I'm so frustrated and so heartbroken and not really sure. Well, let me take a sip. Okay. So I'm sure all of you have seen the budget proposal to come out of the White House recently. Many things are getting huge cuts or either proposed to be eliminated altogether. A couple of specific things I want to go over. Most recently, there was a press conference and there was some conversation around why funding for programs like Meals on Wheels and free school lunches and, you know, snacks for after school programs were being cut. And what was said in the press conference was that these programs were being cut because there was no proof that they were working. They weren't giving the outcome that was desired. And I really had to sit and think about this, right? I really had to sit and think about what that meant. So, Meals on Wheels delivers meals to seniors, veterans who can't leave their home, people with disabilities who can't leave their home, to make sure they eat, that they get a visitor, that they have a square meal, this 1 square meal a day, right? And obviously we know about the free lunch programs, after school programs that provide snacks, things of that nature. Sometimes that's the only meals that children get. So I thought that the whole point of those programs was that people could eat and live. And if that's the point, then the outcomes are exactly what they should be. Correct? Yeah, we want them to eat and live and, you know, go on and do well in school and eat and live and maybe find like a job for a senior citizen or whatever, but we also just want them to eat and live because that's what it means to be an American citizen. That's what it means to be a fucking human being, to take care of one another. So to say that we're not seeing the results that we should be seeing from these programs is completely absurd and inappropriate and abominable, and I cannot believe that this is what we're coming to as a nation. On top of that, they're cutting the National Endowment for the Arts and for Humanities, and it was so funny. I was talking to my husband the other day, and he was saying how, you know, in communist countries, they don't like personal expressions of art, whether it be music or, you know, creative arts or whatever it is. They don't like that because that ties people to their humanity. That keeps people engaged and wanting to help one another and seeing the beauty in life as opposed to falling in line behind behind the regime. And they're trying to cut funding for these things that are keeping us human, that are tying us to our passions and to our destinies and to our desires. Like, it's completely outrageous. And the fact of the matter is, 45 has spent more money on vacations. His wife and child have spent more money not living in the White House. And if they could just try to act like they gave even a smallest, fuck about this position, about what it means to be the leader of the free world, then we could save some of these programs that mean so much to so many people. I've never met a group of people more than the fucking Republican Party who needed Sesame Street on PBS. They need to learn what it means to share, to be kind to one another, but no, let's cut that shit out so we raise up a whole generation of people who don't have those simple standards of decency. What else are they cutting? The EPA is basically getting gutted completely, which is just a complete nightmare. And then here's the thing. They're putting all this money into defense, into homeland security. But the problem is, what the fuck are they defending at this point? If we aren't the nation that is able to make scientific advances the way that we have in the past, if we aren't the nation that's able to put out art and music and movies and television series and literature that has told the line and pushed boundaries and challenged the status quo the way that we have before, what are we defending? What are they trying to defend? This piece of stolen land? Because that's what it feels like. That's what they're trying to defend, this stolen land. But the idea of being an American is so much more than this piece of land. It's about our creativity and coming together in our diversity. It's about seeing the beauty in how this patchwork of people have created advancements in beauty and in a society that is typically accepting, up till about 5 months ago. I don't know what happened, but what are we defending? Because if this is land, whoever wants it can fucking have it. If it means that I get to keep my humanities and my art and make sure that people, or that the elderly are eating and that students are getting their 1 meal a day, then they can have this land. I don't give a damn. I don't understand the end game of this administration. And I think that's where, what is the end game? It has to be purely selfish reasons. There's nothing about this that's making our country great. Nothing. And the people who are continuously supporting him, that blows my mind. Not only is he wildly unqualified to hold that office, but you are literally supporting a border wall over your medication, over your health care. What sense does that make? Okay, so that is my top story. Just these budget cuts. Listen, y'all, stay on alert, okay? Because they're trying to do some crazy shit. They're trying to move funds from public school systems and into, this whole idea of school choice and privatizing schools and back to privatizing prisons. And the shit's just a mess. Make sure y'all stay woke on what's going on. The resistance isn't over, and we still need everyday resistance. And that's going to mean still calling your elected officials. That's going to mean volunteering. That's going to mean looking out for your neighbors and your brothers and your sisters and making sure that we all have what we need, and not letting this become normal, because this shit is not normal. It's not normal. And I need everybody to say it with me. This is not normal. What's happening isn't okay. My social justice or bust piece. So I was thinking about this, and it's really been bothering me. March is, Women's Month. We celebrate women, right? And recently, one of our feminist icons, and I can never say her name right, so I'm not going to say it, But if you don't know who she is, I should probably just try to say it. Chimamanda, I think is how you say her first name. I don't want to mess up her name, so I'm not going to say it. Anyway, she did an interview, and she went on to say that trans women were trans women, as opposed to just saying that trans women are women. And that has really bothered me. And I'm just going to spend a couple minutes talking about this. Every woman in the world has had a unique experience in her journey. Every person in the world has had a unique experience in their journey, okay? And yes, there are some things that are hard about womanhood. For anybody to say that because a woman's experiences are vastly different from their own, that they cannot be categorized, classified as strictly woman, is hostile and disgusting. Okay? Trans women are women. Period. They have had very unique and distinct experiences that may differ from yours. It doesn't make them any less women. I have had very unique and distinct experiences that may differ from yours. Would you? Ain't I a woman? Thank you, Sojourner. So, to say anything otherwise, as I said, is hostile and disgusting. Let me break some things down for you. In the year 2017, which is the year that we're currently in, over 19 trans women have been murdered. 19. We're in March, okay? That means roughly 6 women a month have been murdered. And I would take the leap to say that it's probably more, but they were probably misgendered on a police report. You know what makes it so easy for these things to happen? It's because we keep titling this otherness to them. We keep wanting to say that there's something less than a woman. But they're not. They're women. Okay? And here's the thing, and I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. The crazy part to me is that you keep wanting to reduce people. You keep wanting to reduce people to what's between their legs, as opposed to who they are in here and in here. Sometimes those things don't add up. What if I told you that I grew up and I never had a period, and some of my female organs were either missing or didn't work at all? And so I was afforded the luxury of not having to spend thousands of dollars on female, sanitary products. That was never a stigma that I had on me. Would you call me a non-menstruating woman? I mean, if you would, fuck you, but I don't think any of you would. So, no, you would just call me a woman. My experiences would have been vastly different than yours. My anatomy, my hormones, the physical, biological things would have been very different. But guess what? I'm still a woman. How come we can't see that? And you want to know what's crazy is that a lot of times women who have transitioned have experienced the patriarchy and oppression 10 times worse than you. You've seen it. We've all seen it, where young people who are looked at as boys display feminine qualities and how they're talked to, how they're talked down to, how they're bullied, how they're made fun of. So while you think you're being oppressed, and I'm not saying that you're not, just remember that we all have our own unique and distinct experiences. That doesn't make us any less who we are, who we know we are, who we've always been, no matter what the world has seen us to be. So let's respect our sisters that have transitioned, and let's call them women, and let's celebrate them this Women's Month. Okay? I'm going to drink to that. It's good. All right, listen up. So here's my final thought. this country's going to hell in a handbasket. In church today, yes, I go to church every week. I really like Jesus. He was a really cool guy, and he said some really amazing things. Most of the things that he said revolved around serving the people around you and loving the people around you. And in the budget cuts, one of the things that is looking to be cut is the Corporation for National and Community Service, which is just that's a corporation that funds programs for national service and community service. I think many of you know that I work at an organization that is a national service program. And I do that because I have been called to do so. I've been called to do so in my heart, for myself. I think it is a divine calling to serve other people. I love to do it. And when I look around and I see what's happening in this country, when I see people scared about losing health care, people scared about losing jobs, not being able to feed their families, when I see brothers and sisters of different faiths being attacked, it lets me know that what we need is more service. We need people who are willing to go out, to volunteer, to find a need and fill it, as I heard earlier today. And so, my final thought is this. The GOP claims to be the party of family values, of the Christian faith. And I just want to know, what Jesus are they reading about? Because the one that I know, he washed his disciples' feet. Right? And not just 11 of them. He washed all 13 of them. That means he washed Judas's feet, fully well aware that Judas was about to betray him hours later. Because it was the right thing to do in that moment. The Jesus that I know, he fed people when they were hungry. The Jesus that I know, he healed people. He went out into his communities and he talked to those who were outcast. He healed people who were sick and ailing. And all of these things just seem to be in direct opposition to what the GOP is currently doing, to what the nation's leaders are currently thinking is okay. And I just want to know what Jesus they're following. Because it ain't the one that I read about. And I really believe that this election and this presidency will be the downfall of the evangelical church in this country. Because if evangelical leaders continue to throw their hats in the ring behind this man who has proven himself to be nothing but selfish, bigoted, loud-mouthed, and worthless, it's going to turn everybody away from the teachings of Jesus, who was a really cool guy. Outside of all the religious stuff, outside of all of the shitty things that people have done in the name of Christianity, if you study Jesus, he was a really cool guy, and that is nothing like what is being done in our country. So, get out there and serve. Serve to your heart's content. Find a need in your community and fill it. Make muffin baskets for children in the morning, going to school, go hang out and help with parking at a local mosque or temple, go help, set up chairs at your local Jewish community center, go serve a meal at a homeless shelter, go read to a child for 2 hours a week, I don't know, but just get out and go do something. Donate to Meals on Wheels, donate to NPR and PBS, Planned Parenthood, go walk a woman into her Planned Parenthood appointment. I don't know what it means, but just go serve, because we need it now. We have to take care of one another because our leadership is not taking care of us. That's my final thought. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If you want to figure out how to get plugged into your community, please let me know. I will help you. I will find organizations for any interest that you have. Just let me know. I don't know what's going to happen before I see y'all again because, it's always a bunch of shit. But I'll be back. Everyday resistance is the key, y'all. This shit is not normal, okay? So, I'll see you next time. Keep sipping.